Hello, everybody. I wanted to do a live earlier, but my phone died. And I was just like, okay, maybe it's not meant to be. I know it is dark, but hear what I gotta say rather than seeing my beautiful face. I put the kids to sleep so everybody is nice and sleep. And I'm gonna try to make this just a quick live just to give you guys some information because I have had a few people ask me about how to buy land, how we bought land, and just a bunch of information. So this is gonna seem really old fashioned, but honestly, I personally think it's the best way. So here's what we did, and to me, I think what we did was absolutely perfect. Um, First of all, my husband and I had a conversation. So my husband he already had land. So before we even met, so the first thing was like whether or not we wanted to live on his land. But his land is kind of all the way by Usa River, and if you're here in Arusha, Usa River is kind of far to me from the mainland, so I didn't want to live that far. So then we decided to get a different piece of land. Now, during the time, and I hope you guys can hear me. I really do because my phone speaker is, guys, I need another phone. I desperately need another phone, but I just refuse to. Like, there's just so many other responsibilities that it's just like not on my top priority. So I apologize, but hopefully you guys are receiving this information. Um, so then the first step was, where do you want to live? And these are going to seem basic, but I'm telling you, I feel like a lot of people don't really think much about it. They think about like what's available and all these things, and then they're not happy with the place that they're living and all this stuff. So it was really about like, where do you want to live? So him and I had that deep conversation. Where do you want to live? What kind of are you looking for? Like for us, it was important for us to be able to live on a mountain. My husband wanted to live high. We wanted to have a view of Mount Meru, like certain things like that. We knew that we didn't want to live deep in town because we didn't want like neighbors on top of each other. Like we knew we didn't want that. So finding out where we wanted to live. So that narrowed us down to a couple of neighborhoods. So honestly, what we did is we just literally drove to those neighborhoods and let me tell you something, guys. The boda drivers, they know everybody. Okay? Stop looking for a Delali. Speak to the bodas. Okay? They know everybody and everything. They know everybody tea. They know all the information. So that's exactly what we did. Guys, I think the baby's waking up. Okay. So we started going to the bodas because in most neighborhoods, there's going to be bodas that's like on each corner or on the main road or something. Ask them. Don't be shy. Do not be shy. Speak to people. So we asked them, we were like, is there any land available in this area? And the Boda is not going to give you a Dalali's number. They're going to give you the owner's number. So you just avoid a whole Dalali in that process because you're going directly to the owner, which saves you a lot of money. Believe me, it does. So now, hold on, get up. So now you done spoke to the boda. Now, depending on the boda or whatever, I mean, it would be nice, like especially if you do wind up getting the land, you can definitely like give them a little something or whatever. But it's like not necessary, and then you might not ever see that boda again. But yeah, go to your favorite neighborhoods. That's what we did. We went to our favorite neighborhoods. We found some bodas, and we were like, is there any available land in this area that's for sale? And then they will say like, yes. They will say they don't know. Don't feel discouraged if they say they don't know. Just go to the next person and just be like, hey, do you know if there's any? So in our situation, he was like, oh yeah, like there's a couple pieces of land or whatever. and they gave us the owner's number. Now, once you have an owner's number, you contact the owner directly, okay? There's no middleman. There's no fees. You contact them directly. And then that's when the negotiation process starts. If after you see the place, if you like it, blase, all of that stuff. Now, it's so funny because when we saw a few places, a few lands, never, ever, ever dealt with a Dalali. We did it exactly the way I'm telling you. We went to Bodas. They gave us the numbers. We called the owner and said, hey, listen, we heard that you have a piece of land available. We would like to be able to see it. We went there. If we liked it, we started the negotiation process. But it's so funny because once you actually go to the piece of land or the land that you're interested in, like, and there are other people in the neighborhood that also has land for sale. It's, with the land that with one of the pieces of land that we were interested in, there was another owner that came out of the woodwork. Like, when I say he came out of the woodwork, he was like, oh, please come see my land, and stuff like that. So we did. Another good thing that you can do if you don't want to go to a boda, every region, every section, I don't know how you would say, in Tanzania has a chairman. Go directly to the chairman and ask the chairman, because the chairman knows everybody in that area. You have to be registered to that chairman. I don't know how to explain what would be, can somebody help me? What would be the definition of a chairman? Like an equivalent to the states. Because I wouldn't say a mayor, because it's kind of like a mini mayor for every region. So you have to be registered to that chairman. They know who you are. They know what people are living with you. They know who owns the land. They have the paperwork that you own this. They know, like, everything, okay? So they would know who is selling, they would know all that information. So you go there, and I would just go to the chairman and be like, hey, like, in this neighborhood, who's selling land? And can I have their contact information? And then get their phone numbers, get the owner's number directly if you want to avoid a Dalali fee. I honestly cannot tell you what's a fair price for a Dalali for buying land, but I would probably say about 10% of whatever the purchase is. But don't quote me, I'm not 100%. Anybody can leave a comment who has bought land and had a Dalali and definitely, like, say what it is. But I feel like, it's going to be a certain percentage of the land. And if you could avoid that, definitely avoid that. And also, like, there have been situations where your Dalali lies to you and tells you it's a higher percent, not a higher percentage, it's a higher amount of money for the land, just so that way they can get a cut. You understand what I'm saying? And, like, let me give you an example. Like, an example would be, like, let's say something is, let me use the dollars because most of you guys know dollars. So let's just say a piece of land is $10,000, right? Maybe the Dalali will tell you that is $13,000, so that way they can receive that extra, and then they will have a connection with the owner, so that way they can make a cut. Like, they will say to him, like, hey, listen, like, I'm bringing you this client, so say the price is $13,000, and then you get your money, you get your $10,000, and then I get I'll get that extra, and that's how it be. So for me personally, I like to go directly to the owner. Sometimes the owner is not easy to find. If you gotta go on foot, period, point blank, period. You can ask on Facebook, you can ask on Instagram, you can ask on social media, like, who's selling land, but the people who are going to contact you are Dalalis. They're going, and do not fall into the trap where Dalalis tell you, like, oh no, like, you don't have to pay me. The owner's gonna pay me. Like, unless you have that in writing and you have a contract with that dalali, they're going to ask you money once you agree and say, yeah, I like this place, I want to buy this place. And that's with renting and buying. Like, watch out for that. Because you will, like, that trap will, they'll be like, oh, you don't have to pay for me, you just pay for, the owner will pay for me. And then now you say, yeah, I really like this place, and then now here you are, all, butt out because now this person is demanding money. And sometimes they could be real aggressive, child, okay? They could be super aggressive, knocking on your door, harassing you, telling you, like, oh, you gotta leave if you're not gonna pay me. And no, if you're gonna use a dalali, it's best to use a dalali who's straight up forward with you and be like, this is my fee, this is what it is, da 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 da, period. But like I said, that's the way we purchased our land. That's the way that most locals purchase their land. That's the way that, honestly, I find it takes more work, but I find it to be the most useful. I find it to be the cheapest. I find it to be, and then also you get to know your neighborhood. You get to know, like, you meet your neighbors. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, for me personally, like, it's just the way I like it. And don't get pressured, because this happened to us. So remember, I just told you guys how we did it. So we rolled up on a random boater. We asked him, is there any land available in this area? He gave us the owner's number. We called the owner, said, hey, do you have land available? We did this for a couple places. And then we negotiated. And then when it came time to closing, child, when I tell you, there was a bunch of dalalis just popping up. Just straight up popping up, like, out of the woodwork. People we never even met before. It was like, oh, we helped them. They were trying to tell the owner, like, oh, we helped them and all this stuff. And this is one of the reasons why I love my lawyer. Like, he's a real one. He is a real one. I love our attorney, because I made a video with him before, so go get his information. But he was such a real one. Like, and we told him, like, he asked us, he was like, did you use a dalali? We were like, nope, we just got the contact information from a boda. And he was like, because he's kind of like a big guy or whatever. And, Hope was focused on the survey, because we had got the survey done the same day of the closing to verify that it is as much acres as they say it is, child. Make sure you get your survey. And that survey is attached to the official deed of the land. So Hope was like focused on, the survey and stuff like that. And I was standing with the lawyer, and there was a bunch of, like, dalalis, like I said, that just popped up out of the woodwork. It was like, oh, we helped them and all this stuff. And they was trying to convince the owner, because I was also standing with the owner, that, like, and they were looking for money and stuff like that. And then when he asked us, my attorney asked us, he was like, everybody back up. Like, he was like, back up. And he told me, and he told owner, he was like, nobody need to be paying nobody. The only people who are getting paid is the buyer and the seller. Everybody else back up. And he was mad aggressive, and I loved every bit of it. Like, I was like, that's right. Let him know. I didn't say that out loud, but I was thinking that in my head. Like, I was like, let him know. Like, tell him what it is. So, yeah. So, child, what was I saying? Postpartum brain, y'all. Postpartum brain. Oof, Lord. That's my advice. Personally, that's my advice. That's what I would say. Let me know what your experience is with buying land in Tanzania, if you have. If you're looking for land, I highly advise you to take my advice. I just think that it's great. And if you're somebody who doesn't speak Kiswahili, then I think that it would be cheaper for you to find a trusting person who speaks Kiswahili and maybe pay them for the day or 2 days to help you translate and learn the language and speak for you, so that way you can get owners' numbers rather than going out there and booking a Dalali. I think you can probably pay somebody $50 a day and it will save you thousands of dollars later. That's what I would do personally. Or what you can do is you can get a lawyer involved. You can get a lawyer involved, I think. So after you get the owner's number, you could even get a lawyer involved and ask them to negotiate for you. You know, say, hey, listen, I'm interested in this land. Can you negotiate for me if you don't have a trusting Tanzanian who can speak Kiswahili for you, because you got to pay that lawyer anyways. So I think it would save you a lot of money in the long run. Trust me, I know it would save you a lot of money in the long run. I've seen way too many people make so many mistakes when it comes to purchasing land, and it can very badly backfire you. You can lose a lot of money. I'm talking about thousands of dollars, like between getting ripped off and having people say to you, you got to pay this, you got to pay this, you got to pay this, you got to pay this. And then it's, like you're paying all of this stuff and it's not even something you have to pay. Also, please, please, please be aware that when you move into a community, most communities, you do need to contribute to, I wouldn't say it's an HOA, because the HOA is like a monthly payment, and that's not really what happens here. So you have like the chairman, like, how can I explain it? Like when you move into a new neighborhood, the community is going to ask you to leave a contribution to the community when you first move in. So say you buy this land or whatever, and normally is when you start building on the land. So let's say you want to build a house or something like that. When you move in there, maybe they're going to say, hey, we would like a contribution to the schools, to the, to the hospital, whatever it is, and then that community for you to contribute to that. And that is very normal. It is very normal. And we're talking about like no more than $100 of a contribution. We're not talking about something that's like breaking the bank or something like that. And also, and it's required. Sorry, I meant to say that. It is required in most neighborhoods for you to contribute to something in the neighborhood, but it's just a one-time thing, and it's usually when you first get your land. So look out for that, because that's very normal. And also it's to me it's a good thing to do. Like me and my husband was like honored to do that. Like, of course, like, we were just moving into this neighborhood. Like if we can help with, the schools, and we can help with, all of these things, of course, like we're going to be like, we were honored to do it. Like it wasn't a problem for us. And also like our neighbors and the community really loves us because, we were able to leave such a nice contribution, and remember guys, like, these are your neighbors. This is your community. Like if anything goes down, these are going to be the people who are looking out for you. Like this is Tanzania. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no 911. What's your emergency? Like things go down, child. You on your own. You need those neighbors. Like for real. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like there's like a whole police system here and stuff like that. But is it the same as the States? Absolutely not. Like absolutely not. So, somebody breaking into your house, somebody doing, whatever. Like you want to look out for your community. You want to look out for your neighbors. You want, you want to do that because they're going to look out for you, like for real. And we have definitely been blessed because like our community has definitely like looked out for us in so many ways, in so many ways. And it's a blessing, and anything that you can do for your community that you live in, like do it 100%, do it, be active in your community. I know I'm going off topic and stuff, but that's just where my brain went just now. But like an example would be like if you're building a house, if you're building a school, whatever it is that you're building, like rather than using fundis are like workers, like people who build stuff. Instead of using fundis that are from a whole different other neighborhood, use fundis that are in your neighborhood. I promise you, they will love you forever because you are giving jobs to people directly in your community. I promise you, something goes down, they got your back. They got your back. They gonna look out for you. They gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm take my advice. Take my advice. Take my advice. I'm telling you. Do it. Do it. I'm telling you. It will be in your best interest. And yeah, man. If you have any questions about it, comment below and I will answer them to the best of my ability. But that's how we purchased our land. My husband, when he purchased his other land, this was before we met. He also did it that same way. You know, he just went into the neighborhood, saw what was available, and bought it. Like that's the Tanzanian way. That's the Tanzanian way. So we also did the same for the second land. So honestly, like, it's what I would recommend. But do what works for you. But if you are going to do other channels, just make sure that you 100% like know what you're doing. And you also sorry, one more thing before I get out of here. Don't sign anything in Kiswahili if you don't speak Kiswahili. I know that seems really obvious, but like, if somebody tells you, oh, we can only do the deed in Swahili, oh, we can only, it's a lie. It can be done in English. It can 100% be done in English. Make sure that you understand what exactly that you're signing, even if somebody translate. When you're talking about official paperwork, make sure it's in the language that you understand, period. Don't use Google Translation. Don't use another translator, a human translator. You can use a human translator for negotiation, for everything else, but make sure that that official paperwork, that deed, that transfer, that everything is in the language that you speak, whether that's English, whether that's Chinese, whether that's Spanish, whether that's Kiswahili, whether that is, you know, whatever language that you speak, make sure it's in that language. And if a lawyer tells you that they cannot produce it in the language that you prefer, get another lawyer. Get another lawyer. Because your lawyer is the one who does all that for you. So your lawyer is the one to make sure that that land is actually legit, because there is like a serial number for each land. So they have to go into the system and make sure that this land is legit. This person really owns this land, all of this stuff. And then I'm like completely going off topic, but I really hope that this information is useful. They make sure that, you know, they're like, it's the same as the States. Like, they make sure everything is legit, everything is real. You know, they get all the paperwork, they get the passport copies, they make sure, like, they do everything. So how can you close a deal in a language that you don't understand? It doesn't even make sense. Please do not fall into that trap. Make sure that it is the language that you understand. Make sure that it is in English. If you speak English, it is in whatever language that you speak. I'm going to go now because I am exhausted. I'm not exhausted because of you guys. I am exhausted because I am up every 2 to 3 hours with a newborn. But this was a few people had asked me, and I did wanted to give this, I did wanted to like make a video and get this information and try my best to get this video out there. Shout out to African Dreaming, because if it was not for them, I wouldn't have got on this live. They were like, just do it. Just get it over with. Because what happened was I tried to go on earlier and then my phone died. I was like, oh, wasn't meant to be. Wasn't meant to be. Wasn't meant to be. And then I was just on their live and they were like, just do it. So I was like, okay, let me just get a little bit of energy to give you guys that information. So I hope it was helpful, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.